Hello, everyone. I'm Terry Olette, host of Sonoran Living and host of your Checkup AZ segment today. I am so glad that you are joining us because the mission has always been early detection saves lives. Self exams and mammograms. That is my message to you. And as you know, I was diagnosed with breast cancer a little over a year ago, and I've been through treatment, and I am happy to report to you today that I am cancer free. Yay, I'm super excited about that. But I am not going to stop with the messaging because the truth of the matter is 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. I was that 1 in 8. If you find that you are that 1 in 8, my goal is to give you as much information and resources as I possibly can. So, through my journey, I have learned so many things. So, I'm going to share them with you this morning. Part of my protocol, my treatment plan was I chose to do a lumpectomy, and then I ended up with radiation treatments. Well, radiation, that word sounds really scary, and guess what? It is. But I'm going to maybe alleviate some of that anxiety that you might have about that today. I'm very excited to introduce you. He's not only a friend of mine now, but he's also my radiation oncologist, Dr. John Kressel. How long have you been a radiation oncologist?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Let's see. I started training in 1993.
Okay. A few years under your belt, right? All right. Let's talk a little bit, Dr. Kressel. You were telling me that on your way in this morning, you were thinking about what is the one message that you want women to hear? What was that?
Well, it is the early detection. Don't be afraid to go in and, you see what's going on if you're suspicious, if
Yeah.
you've detected something, or if you're just worried about it. I mean,
Right.
there's all kinds of things that sometimes prompt people to start thinking, do I have breast cancer? I think it's more important to go in and get it checked out professionally than to just worry about it. And the
Correct.
and the main reason, is that the earlier we find any type of malignancy, the more treatment options you have and the
Hmm.
better outcomes patients have.
Yes.
So don't be worried that you're going to be embarrassed by a physician saying, "Oh no, you don't have any cancer. Don't worry about it." That's not a big deal to us. I mean, we would rather have you come in and do that than to neglect it or wait and then we may lose some treatment options because of that.
Aha. And I appreciate you saying that because you're basically putting yourself out of a job, right?
We
And
would, yep, we would rather get everything under, screening early or
yes.
help patients understand preventative measures and things like that. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you saying that because that is our message still today, right? You cannot not take any of that for granted. I want to talk a little bit about the protocol when you are diagnosed with breast cancer. First of all, we have options. There are lots of options. There's lumpectomies, there's mastectomies. Is there anything else?
So there is all kinds of options. So, to answer your question first, it's always kind of a stepwise process that everybody goes through. First one is the diagnosis.
Hmm.
And nothing is a substitute for diagnosis other than getting some tissue, whether it's a biopsy or a small surgery or some type of process where we actually get a piece of the tumor, the malignancy,
Okay.
because now we can study it under the microscope and we can study it genetically, which is something that's just new in the last 5-10 years. So now, that's always the first step is what are we dealing with, diagnose it, and then understand the extent of disease. Where is it located? Has it started to grow? What size is it? Is it involving any other tissues or organs? Because again, these are all things that have to be taken into account as to what is the most appropriate types of treatment, and then have that discussion with the patient. Okay, here's your options.
Right. And thank you for saying that because it is very important to realize that every body every body is different and unique. So I'm hearing that biopsy then kind of gives you the game plan, right, on how to move forward. So the options are varied, right?
Mhm.
Depending on, and there, some of them are based on our choices as well,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So I remember when I was trying to decide, do I want to do a lumpectomy and just remove the tumor or do a mastectomy?
Mhm.
I chose lumpectomy, and I have personal reasons why I
Mhm.
did that. But I was thinking, well, if I did a mastectomy, then I wouldn't have to do radiation treatment. But just chatting now, that's not necessarily true, right? That
True.
protocol again is unique to everyone. Does everyone need radiation treatment?
Great. No. And that's absolutely not. And that's,
Okay.
again, part of the complexity. A lot of times we'll see a patient, they'll sit down and they're coming in with the idea, hey, if I just get the mastectomy, I'm done.
Right.
I don't have to do anything else. Remove the breast, remove both breasts. And I
It's
don't,
gone. I don't
yep.
have to worry
And
about it.
and that's very rarely true. Okay.
Really?
Well, I shouldn't say rare, but that's usually the minority. Okay.
Oh.
And yes, the tumor, in this case, breast cancer, the breast cancer may start in the breast.
Mm-hmm.
It may involve different parts of the breast. And by removing the breast, you may have removed 80, 90, 99% of the malignancy from that patient's body. But that doesn't eliminate the risk of disease in lymph nodes or other parts of the body. So there's definitely a lot of medical literature and the experience that says, yeah, you remove the breast and do a mastectomy. If it's small and if it's limited, that may be most of or all of the treatment that's needed. But in a very large number of patients, we now then have to treat what remains, which is microscopic disease or residual disease in lymph nodes, or even the tissues near where the breast was, the chest wall, the skin, because many times there's cancer cells hiding in all of those tissues.
All right. You need more information. Be sure and check out abc15.com/checkup. All right, let's talk about the different types of treatments. When it comes to radiation, it also varies,
Very
right?
much.
The type of radiation treatment I had, how is that? What was it called exactly? I don't even know. I went to 33 of them and I still don't really know. I was just doing what I was told to do.
Right.
I trust you. But there are other types of radiations. What are they?
So again, it depends on the choices of the patient. You said something earlier that's very important, which is, my decision or the patient's decision. And that's where I mentioned once we have the information of what we're dealing with and the extent of disease, that's when we can sit down and we know, okay, these are the 1, 2, 3, 6 standard of care treatment options that the patient can choose from. And why are they different? And what do you have to go through, for each of the treatments and what are the outcomes? And one of the biggest ones has to do with the lumpectomy versus mastectomy.
Okay.
Because breast preservation or preserving as much of the normal breast tissue is really the goal of lumpectomy.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, that can have a lot of emotional and psychological as well as physical, importance to a patient.
Yes.
So in that setting, yep. So in that setting, yes, you might remove the bulk of the tumor or what we call the primary tumor, meaning where it started from. That's what the lumpectomy does. But then we also know that in many breast cancer patients, there's these little extensions that are beyond where the surgery was or beyond where the primary tumor started. And then that's when we would treat the remainder of the breast tissue to eliminate that microscopic disease, but preserve the breast tissue that we're treating. Okay.
Okay.
And then that's where we start getting into, well, how do you do that? Sometimes you need to treat the whole breast. And sometimes you need to treat lymph nodes nearby because the risk of there being disease in those tissues is very high.
Aha. Okay.
If the risk of the disease being in the lymph nodes or tissues distant from where the lumpectomy cavity is very low, then sometimes we can treat just that little bit of tissue around the lumpectomy cavity in a much more focused way, and in many instances, a much quicker way. So yes, sometimes that involves putting radioactive sources temporarily in that surgical cavity or in that area where the surgery was and removing it after the radiation's been delivered. A lot of times that type of treatment's done in 5 days, very quickly.
Really?
Yeah. And
That's where the 5 days come in. Okay.
so some ladies choose that and they say 5 days. And yes, and then this is where when the patients start comparing notes, they go, well, why did I get 33 and you only got
5,
5? You know,
right. And this is when I about fell off my chair when you told me you're going to need 33.
right.
I couldn't believe it.
And that's because the technique to treat just the surgical cavity doesn't treat the lymph nodes, doesn't treat the other tissues that are at risk for some patients
Okay.
that have that risk.
Which takes me back to this very important point. Every body is different,
Yep.
and and that's why when I talk to my girlfriends and they'll be like, well, what about this? What about, I never offer advice ever, ever, ever. I learned that lesson. I will share my experience, but you're right. It's so unknown. You know, this is our first experience and we have so many questions, and I always appreciated you sitting down and explaining everything to me. And you were so good at that. So once you decide how you're going to do the treatment, you educate us, we make our choices. Let's talk about side effects, because radiation has this connotation, and it's a bit of a myth. And there's even rumors going around social media right now, women talking to women, telling them, don't get your mammogram because it's radiation. So dispel what radiation really is doing. And that's not true, right? The radiation from a mammogram is not going to kill you.
Right. So, radiation does get a bad rap.
Yes, it does.
Deal with it. I've been dealing with it my whole career. I deal with it almost every day with a new patient or patient's family member or somebody bringing in something off the internet or whatever. And that's, there's the Godzilla movies and there's all these radiation movies
Right.
where you see the, people getting sick and so on and so
Hair's
forth.
fried.
Exactly. And that can happen. I mean, we have all kinds of data that tells us, what are the limits? What are safe for different parts of the body, different organs with regards to how much radiation? Because we're exposed to radiation every day, whether you know it or not.
Right.
Whether it's the sun rays, traveling on an commercial flight, you get exposed to radiation. There's radon gases that come out of the soil from the house you live in, for all of these things. So what's important, or what I try to help patients understand, is that yes, uncontrolled and without precision and accuracy, radiation can be harmful. Quote unquote overexposure, whatever you want to call that.
Okay.
You sit out in the sun too long, you get a sunburn. Well, that's common sense, right? It's the same principle, because you can get overexposed in different ways. That's one concept. The other concept is radiation is incredibly beneficial. It's a huge component, for the medical world. We also use it for safety. They X-ray, luggages at airports. They X-ray entire semis that cross the border for contraband and all. So there's all these. They use X-rays to understand the structural integrity of the steel girders in buildings. So there's all of these things that it's important. So what's the risk benefit? Here's the bottom line. A mammogram exposes you to such a small amount of radiation therapy that it's really not meaningful. It doesn't increase your risk for a second malignancy or some kind of adverse event very high. It doesn't hardly raise it at all. But the potential benefit of identifying, a malignancy, that risk and benefit, it's definitely been shown to be in a patient's interest after a certain age, or if they have a risk feature with regards to other family members with breast cancer, or if they have a carrier of the breast cancer gene, that benefit of finding the malignancy early will impact and extend their lives more than the risk of a little bit of radiation exposure once or twice a year for a mammogram. Plus, with the advanced technologies we have now, we can image breast tissue and we can image all kinds of tissue with much lower doses of radiation because the equipment is so good and the sensitivity, we don't need to use as much x-rays,
Right.
to get either just plain films, mammograms, CT scans, all of these.
Okay.
So no, it's the whole risk benefit.
Yeah.
And to say no, don't get it because of the radiation is not good advice.
If you need more information, be sure and check out abc15.com/checkup. I want to talk a little bit more about the new technology that's coming, that you're bringing actually to the state of Arizona. Um, eh, First of all, cancer's not going away. I hate to say it. It pains my heart, but it's not.
No.
So we have to do our best to prevent it, diagnose it early. And if you do that, the chances of you not harming your body any further with the medications and things like that are better. So let's talk about the advancements in the radiation therapy because there are side effects to radiation still,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
I know my skin got very irritated towards the end. It was about 6 or 7 days in before I really started to see anything. And then it progressively got worse. I'm not going to lie. It was very uncomfortable, livable.
Mhm.
So the technology, what does that mean? And does that lessen any of the side effects with radiation?
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of it's just common sense. There'll be patients that come in and said, my mother had radiation, my father had radiation. Well, that's generational. So that's going to be something that was 20, 30, 40 years ago. The equipment and techniques we had back then, very different, not as precise, treating much bigger areas. And it's basically the idea of a target that we're trying to hit with radiation therapy. And back then, basically they were using almost what we would call a shotgun approach. So this radiation was delivered to a big area, and to make sure you weren't missing where the cancer was,
Right.
you would
have to
end
do the
up
whole thing.
you would end up treating a bigger area. You'd put this margin around your where you knew the cancer was, because on a day-to-day basis you weren't exactly able to confirm what you were treating very precisely. We've gotten now to the point in the new technology we're bringing, to Arizona is called adaptive radiotherapy, but we've now gotten to the point where you can modify or track the target in real time, and the radiation beam will move with the target. So now that uncertainty's gone. You don't put this margin around the tissue that you're treating. You're only treating very precisely the tissues at risk. And you can physically spare, minimize, or eliminate the radiation going to normal structures nearby or organs. So, for breast cancer, it's limiting or minimizing dose to the underlying lung, to the heart, to other areas of the body. So that's the big issues with regards to precision and accuracy in the new technology. And by doing that, one, we can increase cure rates because we are now not only ensuring we're treating the areas that have disease and eliminate it, but in many instances we can deliver higher doses for higher cure rates because we can do it more precisely.
Oh.
And then number two is we're now physically excluding the normal tissues much better.
Right.
So the side effects, again, are also coming down. So it's the best of both worlds. That's our goal always, to be able to deliver more dose to the target, to the cancer cells, eliminate them, and minimize it to the tissues nearby. And we now have some technologies that are so good we're down to millimeter or less in precision.
That's amazing. So does that mean that it's possible if you say to a woman, you're going to need 33 radiation treatments, that with this new technology, you might need less or you might need more to
Right.
make sure?
And when patients, and I'm assuming what you say, less or more is the number of treatments.
Correct. Or even the dosage. I
Yep.
mean, because you can figure that out now through this technology.
Right. And the dosage, that's the other part of radiation that is not intuitive to the public. It's not something that you just add. 2 + 2 is not 4 in
Right.
radiation, because the way the body reacts and how it eliminates cancer, it's much more complex. So sometimes 2 + 2 isn't 4. Sometimes 2 + 2 = 6 in radiation therapy, which is hard for patients to understand.
Right. Way above my pay grade. Yeah.
It all has to do with radiobiology and physics, but yes, many times that will allow us to take and deliver in as equally safe and effective manner of like 33 treatments in your case, maybe down to 28, 20, or 20 treatments.
Right.
So yes, it does allow us to do that.
And all of this new technology, I know it's moving and it's in place. When do you estimate that this will be up and running?
Well, we're hoping to open the center that's going to have this new technology later this year.
There you go. All right. Dr. Kressel, thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing really good insight and information. And of course, this is what we do here on Checkup AZ. We provide you with information and resources. If you want to know more, visit the website, see some of the other segments. You'll find more about Dr. John Kressel and where you can find him. And thank you for joining us on this edition of Checkup Arizona.